And we are live, apparently. Welcome, universe, to another episode of the International Writers Fellowship Muggins-a-thon. I don't know what we're going to call these. We should call these something. I think stream is hopelessly optimistic. Yeah, I know. As you can see, it's an RPG therapist day today. It's just me and Erica. Jules is planning to come on at some point, but no guarantees, and I might have to poodle off early for Dad's taxi purposes, so it could just be a thing of a day. How you doing, darling? You all right?
I'm good. Yeah. I had 2 clients that I saw today, so when school's in session, I will see, I have a couple of kids in our school district that I'll see on my day off, which works well for parents not having to transport their kids, and also it opens up a couple of slots for me during my week. And it actually makes me get off of my ass on Monday. So
why? That sounds exhausting. Yeah. Getting up off your ass.
Not bad. But then, I mean, I guess I feel more productive. And then last week and this week, which is why I'm in my car, I've been doing yoga therapy for my hips, and I'm excited to go and learn more. Like, I had homework I had to do every night too.
Oh wow!
That would kind of torture the first couple of nights, and then really cool. And this woman knows so freaking much. It's very interesting how her job and what we do, me and you, are so similar.
Really?
And our approaches to how she works with the body, and kind of how we kind of approach therapy. It's very interesting.
Have you heard of geek yoga?
No.
So
I've heard of puppy yoga.
When I was in San Diego, Charlene and I went and had dinner with a bunch of other geek therapists, and one of whom was a gorgeous woman named Justine Mastin, I think her name is. She sat next to me and we were just geeking out all night. And she apparently, so she's a therapist, but she's also a yoga teacher. And apparently she did this thing called geek yoga. I haven't managed to speak to her about it since. So, but I really want to know what that means, because it sounds amazing. Oh, you're writing down geek yoga, right? Okay, fair enough. Well, I'm hoping to get Justine on my channel at some point, so we'll no doubt talk about that. Right, shall we do cards?
Let's get.
How am I? I'm struggling, if I'm honest. I've just stopped my antidepressants a couple of days ago, so I'm in that stage of where I'm kind of seeing the world through a cloud. Everything's just. You're all the way over there. Plus, I've got it gives you a horrible taste in your mouth for a few days. My ears are popped. But I'm getting divorced. What can you do? You know.
Lots of adjustments.
Yeah. So life, the universe, and everything. But so yeah, I'm not amazing, but at the same time, I'm not the worst. Oh, we have Kraken. Hello, Kraken. We have missed you. You haven't been with us from the start for ages. Thanks for coming along. I'm just sharing my woes with everybody about upping meds. No distracted drive. Yeah, absolutely. We've already had that conversation. Don't worry.
I'm in a parking lot. I'm sitting. I go I get done with my client at 2:20, and then I come straight to the yoga parking lot so that I can stream from 3 to 4 and then go to yoga from 4 to 5. And then fight with, this was not good planning on my part. And then I fight with 5 o'clock traffic.
Oh God, yeah, home. Not good. Not planned. Oh, sorry to hear that, Kraken. Yeah, me too. That's what we've just been talking about. One thing, I genuinely take this from a pair of therapists. If you're feeling down, one thing that will do you a lot of good is just coming along here. I know it's hard to just do anything when you're in that kind of state, but seriously, coming here, talking, just listening to a bunch of like-minded people geeking out over stuff, honestly, that will do you the world of good. So please, thank you for joining us. Well done for joining us, and just keep, you're always welcome. So please just come and join the depressed cop, the happy cop of of us. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, when I was in Orlando presenting at NASAP, I went to a shop on like the difference between like depression and grief, and it was one thing that I really remember that stuck out was that how he talked about
Sorry, that was amazing. You just disappeared.
Sorry.
No,
I'm thinking that maybe I need to get a new phone because I think my phone, like, it's not in the case, and I have it sitting in front of an air conditioning vent, and I think my phone
I had a mouthful of tea at that moment. You just completely disappeared and then instantly came back, and I nearly spurted it all over my screen. That was amazing. Oh God, sorry, carry on.
I was feeling like I was having a very good like therapist moment, but like he was talking about how grief, like one of the things with grief is like it pushes you towards people, where depression pushes you towards isolation. So like being here is awesome because it means you're not isolating, even if we're just virtual.
Absolutely. Before we get into anything else, though, let's do cards. I presume you haven't got many decks of cards in your car.
I do not, but I have my I ordered a tarot card journal.
I've heard tales about this.
To keep track of like what the cards are and what the day is and all of that good stuff.
I keep meaning to get something like that, but I don't have time. I've got this thing called shit to do. Anyway, so let's use the Heritage Tarot deck because it's really cute, and somebody, I can't remember who it was, somebody didn't like the word heritage, but it's a really cool deck, so I'll use it whilst it's just you and me, unless it was you. I can't remember.
No, I think it was Ember.
Was it Ember? Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, it's a beautiful deck, and the book's really good for as well. Oh, we have Strength. So what's that? So Strength. So you still there, Erica?
I'm still here. I was trying to shut my camera off to see if that didn't make you go into a robot.
Morp. So this painting is called Love Tames the Force by an Italian painter named Angelo von Corten, who lived 1848 to 1925. And just as we're about to do that reading, we get joined by Charlene and Jules. Yay! So yeah, don't worry, Jules. We're reading a sec. Just doing the card. Key meanings: strength of will, courage, bravery, confidence, compassion, internal resistance, and success. The painting depicts Diana, the goddess in Roman and Hellenistic religion, primarily revered as the protector of rural areas and nature, hunters, wildlife, childbirth, crossroads, the night, and the moon. Diana is worshipped as a virgin goddess and protector of childbirth. The card points to the ability to overcome obstacles, speaks of inner strength, wisdom, and maturity. It also signifies mutual respect and tolerance. The Strength Tarot card symbolizes life forces, the joy of living and passion. Unwavering strength of spirit, confidence in one's correctness, the ability to achieve goals, attraction, and strong sexual energy are the main characters of this card. Its task is to provide confidence and power to overcome one's internal or external enemy. The Strength card is a symbol of the taming of animal instincts and passions, as well as the triumph of spiritual strength over physical force. It represents the daily struggle with oneself and with circumstances that every person must face on the peaceful path of harmony and love. Card advice: fight for what you want and show the universe you mean business. And an affirmation: my inner strength empowers me to pursue my desires with determination and conviction, showing the universe the depth of my resolve. So there we go. Strength. Hello, Jules.
Morning. Sorry, it's morning for me. That's why I'm a bit late.
Yeah, don't worry. You got out of bed to come here, so I think you're mad. I think you're mad.
I set my alarm for 5:30, and I woke up, and then I just snoozed for
5:30
is too long.
Vile day. Oh, geez, Kraken, no, just no flood warnings. Just no. Just stay safe, whatever's happening. But yes, strength in writing. How do we? Did that card bring up anything for anybody? I look at this card and notice that the lion is half asleep, and Diana is about to shove an arrow in its head for some unknown reason. So, oh, yeah. You back, Erica? You mute and no camera, just so you know.
And I noticed my camera's making me look a bit green today. Tried to fix that, but it's not working.
I'm trying to be here.
Don't worry about it. Life, the universe, and everything. So you just want to fish without a permit. Yeah, I'm not a big fish eater, so I need the flavor fried out of my fish. But yeah, so strength, overcoming inner obstacles, showing the world what we want to achieve. How does that apply to anybody's writing at the moment, or personal life? Or I can definitely see the connections for my personal life in that. But in terms of writing, how do we feel?
So for me, I actually, and I don't know how much I can say about it right now, but I got approached to write an article for a magazine, and I sent it to my friends to read over, and I was like, I'm really struggling with this because it does not sound like me. It feels off. And my friend read over it, and so it's on D&D and therapy, and he read
writing
it,
about
and he wrote
D&D and
back,
therapy. That's
huh?
I would you writing about D&D and therapy. I would never have imagined you writing something like that. That is just so far out of left field.
I know, right? But he said to me, he's like, the reason it doesn't sound like you is because you're trying to be plaintive as opposed to being assertive.
Huh.
And I was like, okay, thank you for spitting in my soup. And so what that card says to me is that I need to borrow from and embody Alana a little bit and like tell, like not try to convince people, but tell people this shit works and this is how I know it works.
One thing, sorry, on the topic of writing articles for magazines, somebody in our chat.
Is it out?
I don't know if it's out. I think it's nearly out. But just so we know, a certain Charlene from Nerd Adventure Therapy 20 is in Time magazine talking about D&D therapeutically. And you can get it on Amazon. Cool. Which is, and you should see the size of the photograph of her in that picture. It's half a page. Well, no, even bigger than that. It's half of one page and a bit on the next one. It is just, oh, it's amazing.
I've just realized, Dan, do we not have our names on the screen?
Oh, yeah, good point. Thank you. I was recording stuff. You see, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
So yeah, that's what that means for me for writing, is like have confidence in your freaking writing because you know what you're talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because you're not asking people if D&D works in therapy. You're telling people that it works in therapy, you know. So
yeah.
And yeah, Kraken, seriously, if you want to have D&D therapy, give either me or Erica a call, because or Charlene, because, you know, as featured in Time magazine, or, you know, me, author of that book, or Erica, who is just who is right now writing magazine articles. So, you know, I think you're surrounded by some of the big names in the industry. Absolutely. Just yeah, fake it.
I just come so I can hang out with cool people.
So of course.
Yeah.
How about you?
Apparently.
Did you get anything from that card?
Also, based on the conversation that you've just had, for a really long time, I've had imposter syndrome, both at work and with my own writing. And it's really only recently that I started to realize that's not actually a healthy place to stay forever. Like, it's really not.
No, and it's an unhealthy place to stay forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a natural thing for a lot of people, and you might go through phases, but staying there for a long time. So then rereading what I have written through that maybe I'm actually not terrible lens has been a bit eye-opening. Like, just being like, oh, Dan wasn't pulling my leg for all those years in telling me I was doing okay. And then it was really nice. A couple of weeks ago, I had a chance to chat with somebody who will probably become my supervisor. I've worked with him at work. He's not able to start until next year. But he read through my project and he's like, I just need to say you write really well. And I'm not giving out that compliment because I've read a lot of stuff and it's hard to find people who can write in this mode and write really clearly. And I was like, okay, I need to not dismiss that because, yeah. So that was really fun. And also to discover that he's a linguist and also a fantasy nerd. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be so perfect.
Put it on a sticky note where you get to see it all the time and just repeat it to yourself. The human mind, I tell this to just about every single client I ever have, the human mind is amazingly complex, but also worryingly stupid. It believes what it hears most often. And so therefore, if you tell yourself you're an amazing writer over and over again, it's going to start believing that. Whereas if you tell yourself you're a bad writer, it's going to believe that. So just tell yourself how amazing you are, and your brain will start believing it. It's like the camels in the Discworld who believe that their name is whatever their rider says to them most often. So one of the main characters in one book is called Get Up, You Bastard, which makes me smile.
That's my, I can't get it like the whole thing, but my Hebrew tattoo, the like theology one, it is abracadabra, which in ancient Hebrew translates to the, I don't remember the exact, but it is I create as I speak, meaning my words have power, which is exactly what you just said.
Absolutely.
And so like, yeah, I have that on me. Like my words have power.
How about you, Dan?
Well, that is going to lead me into something I wanted to talk about, and I imagine we're going to be talking about
the card with you.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to talk about it, but it's
okay.
going to lead into something. So obviously, the way Erica and Ember first joined us was obviously back in November when we were doing NaNoWriMo, which since that time we have decided is an unpleasant organization that we don't want to be supporting. Yeah. But November is coming. We have a month and a half before that month starts, and we're going to need to decide what we're going to do. So as a lead into that conversation, and this isn't going to be a one-off, we'll need to talk about it when Ember's around, for example, and obviously Kraken, Charlene, if you've got any thoughts you want to contribute, by all means let us know. But yeah, so the way I interpret that card is we're going to have to set some targets for ourselves, both in terms of actual writing, but also kind of, what are we going to do instead of supporting an organization that doesn't stand up for children who are being sexually assaulted and thinks that it's perfectly okay to use AI in writing. Side note, sorry. Erica, you sent me that article the other day about Hasbro. What is it with Wizards of the fucking Coast and Hasbro and using AI? Sorry, just for anybody who doesn't know, Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast, which is the producer of Dungeons and Dragons. The biggest, most well-known single RPG in the universe at the moment. They have repeatedly been caught using AI art. They have, I presume, I would not be at all surprised if they've used AI writing. They're moving everything onto digital, which means there's going to be plenty of AI there. And Chris fucking Cox, who is head of Hasbro and is the big dick that everybody's sucking, has just come along and said that all of his friends use AI in their D&D games, and it's the way of the future, and they need to embrace it. So what he's saying is AI, we're just going to use AI writing now, straight up.
My first thought is money. That'd be the reason.
There's no two ways about it. That's all it is. Write me a, ChatGPT, write me a D&D campaign, enter, publish. Thank you.
Yeah.
Money over people.
I did not mean to go down that particular rabbit hole. I didn't. I think that it pissed me off more than I realized it had pissed me off.
Well, and I mean,
what is it with Wizards of the Coast? They seem to be unable to do anything right at the moment. Mate, even if you're doing that, shut your mouth about it. Don't tell anybody. Lie. Just do the mafia thing, and just don't let people know about it.
Yeah. I mean, and I read that whole article because I wanted to see like what the guy had said who wrote it. And he said, you know, there are not, I don't know a single GM who hasn't used like fast character to create an NPC. Because I mean, that's 100% AI, like creating an NPC. That is not creating an entire campaign using AI.
But also, if he doesn't know people who aren't using AI in their D&D campaigns, May, you need to get out more, because I don't.
No, like the guy was pissed. The guy who wrote the article was pissed.
Yes, he really was. Yeah, and good, frankly. Good on you, PC Gamer. It was PC Gamer, wasn't it? But yeah, I said I think it was PC Gamer. So shout out PC Gamer. Thank you. But just
maybe we share that link in the Discord this week.
Yeah, good thinking.
Yeah,
but,
I'll find it and do that. Let me make myself a note.
So, but anyway, so in this world where people of influence are actively being dickish, and therefore making we not wanting to be associated with said dicks, what do we have any ideas of what we would like to do as opposed to the NaNoWriMo in November? Last year, Jen, Gary, and I thought it would be very clever to do a stream every single day. And we managed it. We managed it. That's how Ember and Erica got on board. Admittedly, it was just me a couple of times, but we got there. Do we want to do something similar? Can we commit to something similar?
It will be after the change to daylight savings. Might actually be doable for me. Because it's still before work starts, I think.
But
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is difficult for me because I have clients.
Yeah.
But I actually think that, well, so I know every other Wednesday I wouldn't have a client right now. And then every other Tuesday I wouldn't have a client. But the thing that I loved about Nano is that I am a person.
Yes. Okay, correct. You're absolutely right. We'll do that. Happy me. I'm there. We have Erica and I have a story about dragon egg dice.
I am a person who works really, really, really well with challenges, and deadlines and accountability. So that is the thing that I loved about Nano, was that there was a deadline of midnight, December 1st, essentially, and 50,000 words. Like, I knew exactly what I needed to get and when I needed to get it. Now, I don't know, there may have been 1 year since I started it that I hit my daily word count every day. I was miserable. I hated it. So, like, I know that I can't get that. Like, and I loved getting the badges. Like, that was, these inconsequential, doesn't mean shit badges. But my brain, my ADHD brain, needing those little rewards, I loved that. And then watching my progress on the chart move up.
Okay, so
like the things that it did for me was like fed my ADHD-ness. I just made that word up.
It's a good word.
I mean, maybe Amber would be up for designing some badges. I don't know. Sure, we can.
I
I
mean,
mean,
I
we all
can
have
make some
Excel.
shit up too. I can make some shit up too.
There you go. We can have. We've all got Excel. We can make our own graphs.
Yeah.
We can set our own targets.
Oh no, I have to do the 50,000. Like that's
No,
still needs to be
that can be your target, but
yes. Yeah, no, not everyone else, because that's insane.
but the problem I've had with Nano is there is no way on God's earth I am ever going to achieve that, and so because of that, I don't try and achieve anything.
Yeah.
So I think
So make
being
something
able-
realistic.
yeah,
The year I did actually officially sign up and participate, I think I wrote about 25,000, but that was a whole, I guess that's a novella or an extended short story, and that then turned into a 100,000 word novel afterwards. So that was productive.
Yeah.
okay. So
Dan and I
Ty,
have a thing that we've been talking about working on. Maybe it's a bit too soon, but who knows? We got some time to think about
it might kick us in the ass and make us do it
that.
after however many years it's been
11.
since we last did it.
We finished about 10. Yeah, draft 2 was probably 2014-ish.
That's the other thing that I loved about it. Is that like I know I can hit 50,000 in a month.
We know
Even
you
with-
can hit.
Even,
Erica, you
even
could hit 50,000 in a weekend. You could. We both know you could because you did something like 20,000 in the space of 2 days, didn't you? Tail end of. Oh. Sorry, you two carry on without me. I've just got to make a quick phone call. I shall be with you one moment. But yes, we know you could do 50K in a weekend.
So, question for you, Erica.
Yes.
If you're aiming for 50,000, do you do much planning beforehand? Or do you just let the words come, whatever they are? Nope.
Well, so because I write my Alana story, and it's our D&D campaign, I just follow through. I just follow the notes, and so like I think that's why it's easy for me to hit that 50. It's because like I've already done it. Now some of it, like little sea shanties while cooking dinner in a ship, like that shit just is like, hey, this is gonna happen, and then I have to come up with that. But
If I can just interrupt, Erica, sorry. I have just been called. Dad's taxi has just been summoned, so I'll be back in about 10 minutes. If you just go on without me, and I will be back ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
Peace.
So every time I've done Nano, sorry, I'm afraid to plug my phone in because I'm going to have to like move it away from my air conditioner.
How's
we're gonna
the battery going? Okay.
Oh, I've got 10%. But
yeah.
Okay.
Seems to be all right so far.
Okay, hold on. No, don't turn on. I don't want you to turn on. Oh, never mind. It didn't do the thing. Okay, cool. Are we still good?
Yep. Yes.
No.
So how do you write
cool.
a sea shanty?
So every time I've done it, I have it. as Right Sea Shanty.
Mhm.
That's how it's written right now. As is every battle, is just the word battle and highlighted, because I think what I'm going to do, what I want to do, is actually roll out all of the battles, like with dice rolls and character sheets, and
Yep. An
try
element of
and
randomness can
write
add
that
a
as
lot of interest.
seamlessly as I can.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do that in the middle of writing sprint.
Yep. Oh, excuse me.
So
What was the original question that we were responding to there? Oh, I was asking if you do any planning during Nano. Yeah,
like
so your planning's already kind of done.
Oh no, I mean, ish.
Sketching. Yeah.
I guess the most planning that I do is I might look ahead to see if I need to find any pictures.
Yep. You find visual inspiration is helpful. Oh, it looks like we've got a bit of a delay there.
Yes.
The video's not doing so well. I can still hear you though.
Okay, I might turn my camera on.
Yeah.
And see if that helps.
So visual
turn that off
inspiration
and see if
helps.
that helps any. But yeah, I yes, very, very much.
Mm-hmm. Kraken's asking about whether we've had an exciting September so far. I've had an unexpected
An exciting what? Sorry.
September, a month so far. I got to see my mum start of September, which she lives 8 hours away by car, so a bit of a hike, which was really lovely. Also for a sad reason, because we had to go to a funeral. This was a couple of weeks ago. But one of the things that I really valued out of that experience was getting to connect with people I haven't seen for a really long time. And it was just lovely. So are you there, Erica? I think we've got some issues with the audio, unfortunately. Kraken had a fight, like literally next door neighbor. Kraken, was it your next door neighbor or a couple of doors down? Was everybody okay? Oh no, we've lost Erica. It's just me. Anybody have any questions for me while we wait for Dan and Erica to come back? Oh, that's great. Good to hear that everyone got out and they've been able to find my favorite color, green, which is interesting because I don't actually wear green very much. It's not really a color I like to wear, but I think part of the reason that I love that is because I always associate it with like grass and green things outside, and there's something really calming about that. So in my bedroom when I was growing up, I convinced my parents to let me paint my room green. It was I guess it was almost a teal color, and it was nice. Do I plan or pants when writing? That is a very interesting question. When I first started writing on purpose, not just for school-related stuff, this is way, way back. I was always a pantser. I would get images for scenes and things in my head, and I would write them out. And then I would find that the most I could ever write in one go on a particular story was maybe 10,000 words. And then I'd run out of steam and I wouldn't know what to do next because it felt like it wasn't going anywhere. I'd heard people talk about like planning and outlining, but I always felt like I didn't know what that should look like either. I was like, but if I don't know what the story is going to be, how do I know what to plan? And so I was a bit mystified. And then I came across probably pretty early in our original message board days, the idea of story structure and being able to see how pieces of stories fit together so that they make sense. And so I've looked at lots of different story structures. So now for me, planning is figuring out the shape of the story, figuring out what the skeleton should look like, and sketching that in. And I know for a lot of pantsers or discovery writers, they feel like that takes out the magic. For me, it actually feels like it adds more magic because I know what the shape of the whole thing will look like, but I still then actually get to a lot of the level of sitting down and writing a scene. I kind of think in scenes. That's where I get to do my discovery writing. And I still find interesting things about my characters, but I know roughly where the story is going. And so I almost feel like I get the best of both worlds. So the story structure that I have found that I really, really love using is called a plot embryo, which is just a modified version of something called a story circle. So has anyone heard of Dan Harmon or so he is the writer of Rick and Morty and Community and a bunch of other fun stuff. Yes. So he talks about this idea of a story circle, and I came across this idea of a plot embryo, which takes the elements of the story circle and shows how they can connect to each other in a way that makes the whole of the story make sense. And something just clicked in my brain when those two things went together. So I actually so for my novel that I've been working on for my PhD, you can write a plot embryo for any character. And so it doesn't have to be the whole of the story. It's actually about the individual characters' development as they progress throughout. And so that was the key to unlocking a couple of things for the main character for Freedom Slaves that Dan and I were working on, realizing that I just had to tweak a couple of those key moments in the story. Planning scenes with high emotions. I'm thinking about some of the scenes in Freedom Slaves, actually, in particular. We've got a couple of moments that are very, I don't know if impactful is the right word, intense. I will definitely share some stuff about the plot embryo on Discord if people are interested. For me, with an emotional scene, I have to kind of get myself in the right emotional headspace before I start writing a scene. And often when I'm going to write a scene, I'll have like a description of what I'm aiming for. And often I think in like pictures of what a moment might look like. But I'm also very organic in, I just sometimes let my characters do what they should be doing. And so, or do what they want to do. And so getting like with the goal of this is what needs to happen by the end of the scene, I just let them figure out how they're going to get there. I think I always find it interesting when I compare the way I work to the way Dan works. I have to write from the top of the bottom to a scene. So what are they doing in the beginning? And then I write through to the end. Whereas Dan gets snippets of dialogue often and he'll write them out and kind of piece them together. And then he'll write the stuff that goes around. And that's kind of cool. I can't function that way because for me, dialogue is the back and forward between the characters. It's not just the things they say. And also I'm a very character focused writer. So when I'm writing scenes between characters where there's a lots of emotion, I'm looking for what are the things they're saying, but what's the subtext as well a lot of the time. And often high intensity emotional scenes have a lot of subtext. So one character might be expecting the other person to respond in a particular way, and they respond completely differently to what's expected, and it throws them off. And people misinterpreting each other based on, I mean, we know this happens in real life based on the things they say or the things they don't say, or even just the way that it's said. And then I've also, between the first and second draft of Freedom Slaves, our first draft was 160,000 words. And that was a lot of words. And we realized that there were quite a few scenes that could just be cut because there were lots of character talking to each other moments without necessarily moving the plot forward, which is probably partly my fault. Oh, yeah. So finding places to remove that because my characters tend to be a bit wordy. But then I do enjoy the dialogue. So that's as much insight as I have into my own understanding of that part of the process. I think it still seems to work with emotions because, so for the short story that's in the anthology that I've written, that's a Freedom Slave story. It's kind of an intense moment between two characters who are noticing each other properly for the first time. And it was interesting when I first wrote that, and I had a couple of people who know me in real life but hadn't ever written any of my writing. They looked at that and they're like, I felt that. They read the scene and then they were like, I could feel the emotion there. I'm like, well, it did its job then. So obviously something's working in that. Yeah, having your own emotional response while you're in the middle of writing something. Yes. And I recall days when I've been working on something intensely. I think the most I've written in one day was about 6,500 words. And so this is not Freedom Slaves. This is one of my novel that I've worked on, which was the story that was a NaNoWriMo story that turned into a novel. Same process. I had sketched out a lot of scenes where I wanted things to go. And this particular day, I got into the zone and I was writing, and this ended up being a really intense emotional scene between two characters. One of the characters who just kind of appeared in the story and wasn't even part of the original plan. This was prior to me having discovered the plot embryo. So that was fun, but unexpected. And I think often it's the emotion of the scene that helps carrying me through and get more words out. One of my things that I often notice that I miss when I come back to review something later is sometimes I end up with talking heads in my scenes because I'm so focused on the character side of what's happening. I forget to put the details of their environment in. And so it turns into people having conversations and interacting with each other. And I have no detail about where they are or how that environment is.
Oh, I'm sorry. What? You've been left by yourself?
I've been getting people to ask questions.
Well,
Erica's phone was having trouble.
what? Okay, cool, lovely. Fill me in. What are we talking about now?
Someone asked a question: how do I go about planning for scenes and scenes with high emotions? We were talking about. I asked Erica what her planning process is for Nano and how she manages to get so many words. So I've just explained my process when I'm writing those kinds of scenes.
Okay. So high emotion, as in.
I'm just thinking about some of the key moments in Freedom Slaves. That's what I was thinking about when I was talking.
Sorry, whilst I was out there, it turns out I had an Amazon parcel and the muggins had tried to shove it through my letterbox. And if it's damaged, because it's...
Is it not damaged? Please let it not be damaged.
Please let it not be damaged. It doesn't look damaged yet.
Excellent.
It is.
Oh,
I know. Because there is a new Discworld RPG coming out, and I mean it's by Modiphius, so I'm not 100% sure it's going to be amazing, but because I just don't like their 2D20 system, and their books are really badly produced. They're just not very well laid out. Modiphius, please, I'm begging you, do a better job than you did with Conan, please. Look, if you can't get me to buy your Conan RPG, you're doing something wrong. So for the love of God, do better with Discworld, please. Anyway, because you're going to be playing Discworld, you need to have information about Discworld. And I believe there's a map in the back. Yes, there is. Ooh, it's a big map. Ooh, it's a very big map. Oh my God. Holy cockwombles. I mean,
yes, he does look like a statue. He's coming to tell me it's almost time for breakfast. So, oh my, wow.
I know. So I'm going to be having fun with this. Anyway, writing high emotion.
But it's not made of fabric.
Sorry?
It's not made of fabric.
It's not cloth, no.
Yeah.
No, that's for the One Ring. We'll be fine. But yeah, obviously it depends on the kind of emotion, because if it's romance, for example, you want to write it's a lot of internalized, oh my God, this person is so horny, oh my God, I love this person, oh my God, it's and the tension comes from both of them thinking how much they're in love with the other one, but not necessarily feeling able to communicate it. So they circle each other. But then you've got aggression or violence, and that often leads to action scenes of some kind where there isn't much. It's kind of the opposite. There isn't much thinking, but there's lots of telling each other how much they hate them.
Which is why you write the action scenes in Freedom Slaves.
Yeah, because I hate everybody.
I'm just looking.
Sorry, you set that one up yourself. You gave me the opening, and I couldn't not. So
yeah. Oh, Kraken had some other questions further up that I didn't even get to, personal ones. What do I do? I'm a university lecturer. I teach writing and linguistics. I am a creative writer. I do sing and I play the piano as well. That's my musical outlet. I'm not a poet. Although sometimes I've woken up, and you've even seen the output of this, Dan, those random times that I wake up in the middle of the night and I've got a poem in my brain and it comes out and I'm like, maybe that means something. I don't know what it means, but some hobbies. Too many hobbies.
Sorry,
Yeah.
just to interrupt. Charlene has just said that we need to label this stream Daniel Gets a Boner for Maps. We don't talk about how horny I find maps, okay? The world's we
That makes me want to find something. You keep talking.
okay. So the mention of boners for maps, Jules is off. Okay, fair enough. New comment. Sorry.
No, I can't. I'm not going to be able to find it. But I just have to say, this is kind of sweet. When I was rearranging my study and I was going through my things, I discovered a birthday card that Dan sent me years and years ago, and it was a replica of
was it the
Balerians?
Yeah.
And it's I'm not getting rid of that. That's the best birthday card ever.
Well, that was the one. It was the John Howe Balerian map, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Howe. I mean, John Howe. There we are.
Yeah.
Those two.
Yeah, John Howe, Alan Lee, nothing else needed.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. I love this already. The cool monks, the listening monks, the wake monks. Okay, me happy now. But yeah, so and then huh?
I was just going to say, do we want to circle back to wrapping up the nano conversation for today?
Oh, did you not wrap it up? Sorry, I assumed you wrapped it
up.
No,
because we were building on what's your process when you're doing nano. Do you do any planning? And
okay,
and Erica was saying that she basically uses what happens in the campaigns as her plan. So.
Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm quite a planner, as we know, but but again, because for nano specifically, I tend to just not, because I just don't partake in it. It's been too much for me all the time. But in terms of my planning process, I like to know where it ends and where it begins, and how I get from one place to another is kind of just the writing slog. And I think part of the issue I've been having lately, thanks Kraken, it's good to be back, you know. I hope you've all missed me. I've been coming up with lots of beginnings, but haven't had many in the way of ideas for how to end those particular stories. And because of that, they've been floundering. So I need to, because I've been so eager to get back into writing, I've just been sitting down and writing the ideas that I have for the beginnings. But because that's all I have, and I don't really have an ending to work towards, it just kind of fizzles out. So
I just had a random idea, something that might help Dan get some.
Oh
Well, we've got this character in Freedom Slaves that you really want to figure out. Why not just have a crack at a short story with him in the new iteration? That would be really fun.
It's not a bad shout.
Yeah,
it's not a bad shout. Actually, now you mention
because you're more likely to be able to find an ending in that context than just something that's completely brand new. And I also want to see this. What did you call it? The Perpetual City.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about
that. Sorry, I've sent Dan into thinking mode.
Yeah. my clients have learned to fear this particular face. See, whenever I'm thinking about clients, I stare that way. Whenever I'm thinking about story, I tend to stare that way. But like I say, when I go like this, my client's going, "Oh shit, what's he thinking? What's he going to say?"
So maybe we can have this conversation a bit more as well. But maybe doing some work on Freedom Slaves might be an actual manageable goal for Nano. And for November. I would be up for that because I'm actually taking a break from my PhD at the moment. So I have space for that.
Thanks for joining us, Erica. As usual, absolute darling. We'll see you next week.
And
Charlene,
you will be pleased to know that hopefully draft 3 it's going to be better because we finally figured out how to make the villain like a really.
But bear in mind, she keeps saying she wants more, and yet she hasn't read Hermit in the Mine, which I sent her months ago.
Maybe it's just Demas. I don't know.
Maybe.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so I think the upshot about November is that we are going to do something. We just need to acknowledge that we are not doing it as part of the arsehole organization.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I wonder if Jen and Gary will be able to join. So I haven't actually seen either of them since I started.
Neither have we. Don't worry. Cool.
Gary seems to have some pretty big things going on, so that makes sense.
Yeah, one or two. We'll see. I'm sure if we figure something out for November, we can do it. Hopefully, if we just do sheer volume of content, we'll bump into each other at some point, purely unavoidably. But, right then. Well, as usual, guys, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Kraken, please do reach out if you need a chat. And yeah, Jules, where can we find you? What are you doing? Is there anything people can buy from you, etc.?
Well, you can find me here. I'm not on socials, but you can find my short story for free. Doesn't cost a thing. In the anthology Eclectica, which looks like this. There's a link shared in Discord if you're interested. Yeah.
And you can find me on YouTube at the RPG Therapist. I just put up a video about drawing maps for your RPG sessions. It is very, very badly drawn, but and literally I drew an entire RPG map in about 20 minutes, less than, and it would have been quicker than that if I wasn't talking about drawing it. The problem a lot of people have with getting into RPGs is they think it's just too much. They're not creative enough. Hopefully, these videos I'm putting up can prove that you are more than capable of doing it. I am going to be on a podcast in a couple of weeks, and I've already forgotten what it's called. It is called the Game Design Roundtable Podcast. So that is going to be fun. I am also tentatively talking with somebody about being on the RPG Rundown Network, and obviously you can find us here at IWF. So until next time, thanks a lot for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Happy writing.